He's always been seen. Hey, did you hear that the dummy won an award for his lifetime of work? Not at all. Yes, he was the best at what he did. Everyone on Pawn Stars knew and laughed with Chumlee, the jokester who liked to have fun. Suddenly, he was caught up in a shocking scandal that almost destroyed his life. One minute, he was the goofy guy making deals in the shop, and the next, his house was being searched by cops who found things that no fan expected. Pay attention, because what came next changed everything, and not just for Chumlee, but for everyone on Pawn Stars. It's hard to stay on top when you're famous and rich. Lee Austin, who goes by the name Chumlee, was born in Henderson, Nevada on September 8, 1982. At age 12, someone's dad called him that because he thought he looked like a walrus from an old cartoon. The name stuck. They became close as kids. Corey Harrison's family ran a gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. This little shop would become a reality TV star in the end. But things could have been very different before they became famous and rich. When Pawn Stars first came out on TV in 2009, Chumlee had already worked at the shop for 5 years. He was the joker, the person who got pranked, and the person who no one thought much of. But it turned out he was very good at finding rare and expensive items, especially video games, sneakers, and pinball machines. People loved him because he was so silly, and he made a lot of money off of it. He went so far as to start his own business selling goods which did better than what the other group members were selling. This is where your $20,000 diamond rings will be. Brings me to our case with the women. You wish to find a lovely ring for your lady. You will waste a lot of money if you visit Tower of the Jewels. Come on over here. However, things were not always easy. No one saw how Chumlee's life would turn out so badly. Everything fell apart when the cops arrived at his house. That's when things really began. In 2016, his home was raided by the police as part of a probe into a serious case. What did they find? Let's just say it wasn't your typical pawn shop stock of guns and illegal drugs. It didn't look good. All of a sudden, Chumlee went from being a TV star to being charged with multiple felonies. Now, most people would freak out in this case, but Chumlee was smart. He made an agreement to plead guilty to a few charges instead of going to trial. This kept him out of jail. Not at all. He was put on probation, told to clean his nose, and made to go to class. Not only was there trouble with the law, though, his health got worse, and fans have seen Chumlee's weight change over the years. It was said that he weighed 350 pounds at his biggest. He did everything, like dieting and working out, but nothing stuck. 350 is great to me. Enjoy your time with my dad, drink some alcohol, bet on some games, and have fun. Spend the money wisely. He finally chose to do everything and had gastric sleeve surgery. The end result? He changed everything about his life and lost over 160 pounds. It was a huge change for this guy who used to have health problems and now talks about exercise and balance. Even though things went wrong, he didn't disappear. In fact, he made his business ventures bigger. Have you heard of Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard? That belongs to him. It was opened across the street from the pawn shop and sold retro candies. Fans loved it too. He also tried his hand at games and even made his own retro-style video game, which shows that he can see more than just pawned items. Things were getting better for the Pawn Stars family, but then tragedy hit. Adam Harrison, Corey's brother, died in early 2024 from what was thought to be a fentanyl accident. This really hurt Rick and everyone else on the team. It also brought attention to the opioid problem, which Rick has since talked a lot about. It was terrible to lose Adam, but the show had to go on, and it did. It started showing new shows of Pawn Stars Do America, and Chumlee was still a part of it. His life has been very up and down, starting out as a simple pawn shop worker and becoming famous on reality TV, but then getting into trouble with the law, having health problems and losing loved ones. But one thing is for sure, Chumlee can get back on track. He is not going to give up anytime soon, whether it's in business, health, or just staying relevant in the world of TV, which is always changing. What about fans? They are just waiting to see what crazy thing happens next in the life of Pawn Stars' most unreliable character. The crazy ride doesn't end there though. Before he got into trouble with the law and lost weight, Chumlee was making waves in the loan business in his own unique way. He liked strange things and was always interested in old video games, old sneakers, and sports souvenirs. It wasn't just about making him money. He loved the thrill of the hunt very much. A rare, brand new copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was one of the most memorable things he ever bought on Pawn Stars. For the Nintendo video game system, the seller asked for $70,000, but the store could only give them $60,000. Chumlee couldn't help but wonder how much that old game would be worth now. since people love playing old video games. Then there was the time someone brought in a huge stack of Pokemon cards, some of which were very valuable Charizard cards. Rick wasn't sure about the deal at the time, so he decided to pass it up. Now that the prices of rare Pokemon cards are going through the roof, Chumlee has said that he thinks that was one of Pawn Stars' biggest missed chances ever. It was never just about making money at the pawn shop. It was about history, finding out why certain things are so valuable, and the thrill of making a big deal. But even though Chumlee did some smart things, he also did a lot of bad things. You think that your little fake lottery ticket will fool me? Hey, big jerk, you knew the whole time it was a joke, right? I knew that ticket wasn't real. That happens all the time to me. I give those to funny people. For example, he once talked Rick into buying a bunch of old toys that turned out to be worth a lot less than they thought. That made Rick very unhappy. Even though he made mistakes sometimes, Chumlee became an expert in his own right. He loved old pinball games, knew a real sneaker from a fake one from a mile away, and knew a lot about collecting sports memorabilia. He showed that he was more than just a funny guy over time. He was important in the pawn business. However, Chumlee was interested in other things when he wasn't at the pawn shop. His favorite music was old-school hip-hop, and he was crazy about cars and collecting rare sneakers. He collected a lot of cool cars over the years, like a Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Maserati Gran Turismo, and a 1964 Chevrolet Impala that was completely customized. Some car shows let him show off his favorite rides because he loved them so much. He did a lot of big things, but not all of them worked out. Bad decisions at work, driving while drunk, and family fights. People know Corey Harrison as Big Hoss from Pawn Stars. He's had a wild time at the gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. His journey began when he was a child working in the family business. It has been full of ups and downs. Over the years, Corey showed his worth by running the shop, making big purchases, and managing the staff. Things did not go as planned though. Even with his help, he lost his share of the business in the end. It wasn't just a case of making bad choices. There were problems in the family, problems in the person's life, and some bad luck. Corey's grandpa, Richard Old Man Harrison, owned a pawn shop, and his father Rick ran the business. He was already getting better by the time he was 9 years old. He worked his way up until he was in charge of running the day-to-day business and supervising more than 30 workers. That wasn't easy. Another thing he was known for was having a good eye for expensive things. He bought more things than anyone else in the shop. Things did not always go well though. His choices to buy expensive things sometimes went against the more careful ways of his father and grandfather, which caused a lot of heated arguments. People all over the world know about the shop because of the reality TV show Pawn Stars, and Corey played a big role in that. He was on the show for more than just work. Besides that, he was on other TV shows like iCarly. A down payment on something like a house for vacations, call it Peggy's Cabin, is still at $75, which is the price I first asked for it. His TV job was going great, but his personal life was a different story. Not long after they got married, he split up with Karina Harrison, better known as Kiki. They got married in 2017 but broke up the next year because their work plans didn't work together. Even though they were divorced, they had a son named Richard Benjamin Harrison after Corey's grandpa. But this wasn't his first bad marriage. He used to be married to Charlene, his high school girlfriend, but they got a divorce in 2015. There was a car crash that changed Corey's life in a big way. Someone saw him driving drunk and his truck swerving into a bike lane in Las Vegas in September 2023. He was caught for that crime. When the cops pulled him over around 2 in the morning, they smelled alcohol and saw that his eyes were glassy. He said he only had 1 drink on the flight from Minnesota, but the test showed otherwise. He later said that he failed the test because of an infected shin and the rough ground where the test was given. The breathalyzer didn't work right, so they took a blood sample, which led to him being in jail. This event not only got him in trouble with the law, but it also did a lot of damage to his image. People didn't like him. He was kicked off Pawn Stars and he had to say sorry and promise to get help for his drinking. When it comes to his health, has had less than ideal times. He had lap band surgery in 2014 after finding out he was pre-diabetic. He used to weigh about 400 pounds. He promised to live a better life after the surgery, which helped him lose almost 200 pounds. But his health wasn't the only thing that was bothering him. He was very sad when his younger brother Adam Harrison died in January 2024. The death of Adam, who wasn't on Pawn Stars, was a terrible blow to Corey and his family. The ring was given to my mum by a person in power who was linked to the mob families. Corey shared his sadness with the public by posting a picture of them as kids on social media. In 2018, Corey's grandpa Richard Oldman Harrison died. This was another very important event in his life. He was close with his grandpa and learned a lot from him. He was also the backbone of the pawn shop. When Richard died, it was a huge loss for both the family and the business. He had worked with Corey for years, and Corey had learned a lot from him. Rick and Corey had to take on more of the shop's duties after his grandpa died. The pawn shop wouldn't be the same without the kind but strict old man running it.